To most of the world, he's Dominic Toretto, leader of the Fast and Furious crew, a man of few words and full-throttle action. But behind the wheel of Hollywood's biggest street racing franchise is Vin Diesel, a private figure whose real-life connection to cars runs deeper than fans realize. While the franchise built its legacy on NOS, muscle, and loyalty, Diesel himself built something quieter, a personal garage that no camera crew has ever fully documented. Because for him, these cars aren't about horsepower or Hollywood. They're about memory, meaning, and moments he refuses to forget. Before the fame, before the million-dollar paychecks, Vin Diesel, born Mark Sinclair, was a struggling actor in New York City with a passion for storytelling and a love for machines. He wasn't born into wealth, didn't have sponsors, and didn't grow up around supercars. But what he had was grit. That grit carried him from homemade indie films to the front lines of Universal's most bankable franchise. And once the world knew his name, he quietly began building something in private. A collection of vehicles not for show, but for soul. There's no public tour, no social media walkthrough. Unlike other celebrities who flaunt their Bugattis and Lambos on Instagram, Vin keeps his garage sealed, physically and emotionally. Because inside that garage, every car has a story. Some are tributes, some are scars. Others are locked-away reminders of a man he loved like a brother. This garage isn't a showroom, it's a sanctuary. This documentary isn't about movie cars or chase scenes. It's about what happens when the cameras stop rolling, when the engine quiets, and the man behind the myth closes the garage door behind him. Vin Diesel may live his life a quarter mile at a time, but this is the story of the full journey, the one only his cars can tell. Parked beneath a satin cover, deep in the shadows of Vin Diesel's garage, is a white Toyota Supra, nearly identical to the one Paul Walker drove in the original Fast and Furious. But this car is not a replica for show. It's a tribute. Every detail, from the wheels to the interior trim, was hand-selected to match Paul's iconic ride. Vin had it built privately, quietly, and without any press. And he only brings it out once a year, on the anniversary of Paul's death. To outsiders, it may seem like a symbolic gesture, but to Vin, it's a ritual. Each year, on that day, he slips behind the wheel and drives a solitary route. No fanfare, no entourage, just him, the road, and the memory of his friend. Paul wasn't just a co-star, he was family. Vin named his daughter Pauline in Paul's honor. And this car? It's not for racing. It's for remembrance. Friends say the first time Vin started the engine, he didn't speak. Just sat there, hand on the wheel, looking out the windshield. Some say he cried. Others say he just breathed, slowly, like he was trying to freeze time. Because that car doesn't just represent a character. It represents a bond forged on and off screen. Brothers in every way except blood. It's not pretty. It doesn't roar. It doesn't sparkle in the lights. But in the far corner of Vin Diesel's garage sits a tired, two-tone 1980s Monte Carlo, the first car he ever bought. It's rusting in places. The paint is faded. The upholstery's torn. And he refuses to touch a thing. That car, he once told a friend, reminds me of struggle. I need to see that. Before Dom Toretto, before Fast and Furious, Vin was hustling to get by, working odd jobs, sleeping in cramped apartments, and pouring everything into indie films no one saw. That Monte Carlo got him to auditions, grocery stores, and dead-end sets. It broke down more than it ran, but he never got rid of it. To him, it's not a junker. It's proof. Proof that dreams start small, and that sometimes the loudest car in the garage doesn't have to be the most important. While visitors marvel at the Chargers and AMGs, Vin always points out the Monte Carlo first. That's where the story began. Tucked away under a dim garage light is a black-on-black Mercedes-AMG coupe. No plates, custom VIN tags, and an aura of complete secrecy. It's never been posted online, never featured in a magazine. According to insiders, this car was a personal gift from a studio executive after Pitch Black, the role that launched Vin into Hollywood's upper echelon. There's no paperwork trail, no press release, just a whispered origin and a growing legend around why Vin has never driven it in public. Some say it was meant as a thank you for turning a low-budget sci-fi film into a cult classic. Others believe it symbolizes the first time Hollywood truly believed in him. Whatever the truth, the car hasn't moved in years. It's spotless, maintained, but always parked in the same spot. Some call it Vin's trophy. Others say it's a reminder of who he was before fame hit full throttle. Among all the machines in Vin Diesel's garage, there's one that even close friends hesitate to bring up. A car that reportedly sparked arguments, creative tension, and raw emotion. It's a custom-built Dodge Demon, shrouded in carbon fiber and modified far beyond factory spec. Twin turbos, race-tuned suspension, blacked-out glass. This was supposed to be the car for Dom Toretto in F9. But at the last minute, Vin pulled it from production. No official reason was ever given. Rumors flew. Too aggressive, too flashy, too personal. Some said it reminded him too much of Paul. Others claimed it was connected to an off-screen disagreement with the studio over the direction of the character. Now, the car just sits. No photos, no interviews, no comments. One crew member said the last time they saw Vin near it, he stood in silence, then walked away without saying a word. For someone who lives his life a quarter mile at a time, this car seems frozen in place, like a story too painful to tell. Not every vehicle in Vin Diesel's garage is muscle-bound or movie-famous. Near the shop bench sits a small, comically lifted Ford Bronco, built not for speed or show, but for family. During the COVID-19 lockdown, Vin spent time at home with his kids, wrenching together this scaled-down Bronco in their backyard garage. It's lifted, cartoonishly oversized tires, custom paint job picked by his daughter, and decals that read Diesel Family One. It's not built to race, just to create memories. And that's exactly what it represents. A reminder that life off-screen matters more than horsepower. Visitors often overlook the Bronco, expecting a Lambo or Bugatti. But when asked about it, Vin smiles more than he does for any other car. That one's not for fans, that one's for us. There's one car in the garage that almost feels sacred. A Nissan Skyline GT-RR 34 in pristine condition. Rare on its own, but this one is special for a different reason. On the glove box, in faded silver ink, is Paul Walker's autograph, dated shortly before a charity race event the two attended together. Vin has never driven it since. Instead, it sits under low lighting, in what looks more like a museum installation than a garage bay. The car is waxed weekly, tires rotated, engine checked, but it hasn't left its spot in years. It's more than a car. It's a time capsule, a snapshot of friendship, a bond that still lives under the hood, in the seatbelt, in that glove box signature. Deep in the back corner of Vin Diesel's garage sits a car that almost made cinematic history, but didn't. It's a matte black 1971 Plymouth GTX. Wide stance, custom hood scoop, blood red interior. It was prepped and ready to become Dominic Toretto's new ride for Fast 5. But it never made it to set, not because it wasn't fast enough, not because it lacked presence, because the studio didn't like it. According to insiders, Vin personally picked the GTX. He saw it as a reflection of where Dom was at that point in the story. Hardened, raw, stripped down. The production team disagreed. They wanted something flashier, more on-brand, more marketable. A behind-closed-doors debate followed. Vin reportedly walked out of one meeting over it, and when the dust settled, the GTX was benched. But Vin never forgot it. Instead of letting it go, he bought the car himself, had it shipped directly to his personal garage. And there it sits, untouched since 2010. No press ever saw it. No crew ever filmed it. But if you ask Vin about it, he'll grin and say, "That's Dom's car," in my version of the story. To Vin Diesel, that GTX represents creative control. It's a reminder that even at the top of the Hollywood food chain, the real battles are over identity, vision, and voice. Every time he walks past it, he's reminded, Dom Toretto may be a character, but he's also personal. And sometimes, the most important cars aren't the ones that get screen time. They're the ones that never had to. Of all the rules in Vin Diesel's private world, this one is ironclad. No cameras in the garage. It's not just about privacy. It's about principle. Dozens of Fast and Furious crew members, stylists, assistants, and friends have said the same thing. The garage is sacred ground. Even during downtime on set, when YouTubers and influencers begged for behind-the-scenes shots, the answer was always no. One production assistant said, "Vin's garage is like a temple. You're not there to document, you're there to understand." Some of this stems from grief, particularly surrounding Paul Walker. After Paul's death, Vin reportedly became far more protective of anything sentimental, including his cars. Several in the garage are off-limits, even to close friends. A covered Supra, a roped-off R34. Even the lighting is dimmer in those corners, like a shrine rather than storage. Even brands and studios have been turned away. In 2017, a luxury automotive magazine offered Vin a six-figure deal for exclusive photos of his garage. He declined without hesitation. He once told an interviewer, "People already see what I want them to see. But the cars that matter most? That's between me and the people I love." The no cameras policy isn't about hiding horsepower. It's about guarding memories. In a world of endless exposure, Vin Diesel has created one space where story, emotion, and legacy are protected, not promoted. At first glance, Vin Diesel's garage looks like any celebrity car collection. Rows of horsepower, rarity, chrome, value. But once you look closer, it's something else entirely. It's a journal written in metal and rubber. Each car tells a story. The Paul Walker Tribute Supra is a love letter to a lost brother. The carbon fiber demon is an unresolved chapter, locked behind silence. The Bronco is fatherhood forged in a time of global uncertainty. Even the forgotten Monte Carlo, rusted and idle, whispers of a man before the fame. Most celebrities collect cars to flaunt success. Vin collects moments. That's why most of these vehicles have never been shown, never raced, never even driven more than once. They're emotional totems, chapters of a life filled with contradictions. Action hero and grieving friend, megastar and humble dad, street racer and sentimental soul. That's the real story behind Vin Diesel's garage. It's not the Supra. It's not the R34. It's not the Charger or the GTX. It's the quiet, the absence of cameras, the intention behind every car cover, every dusty corner, every preserved tire tread. Vin Diesel may be Dominic Toretto to millions, but in that garage, he's just Vin. A man who built a family on screen, and stores his real one memory at a time, behind closed doors.